Hey y'all, I'm Toni from Intuit Activity. Um, I'm just over here, like I do a lot of meditating, I do a lot of reading of the word, I do a lot of spiritual work, as far as shadow work and chakra work and stuff of that nature. Okay, so the reason why the last video went up about the coven, okay, is because these people want to resurrect something. Okay. And my thing is, what are they resurrecting? See, people be doing these spells and stuff like that, but do they ever really do their research on what they're conjuring up? Because everybody has a perspective of what they think the Babylonians are. If you look up the literal context of what a Babylonian was in the time that it was created and the name was used, it was like BCE or something like that. These people crushed the Assyrians, okay? But they were a military force, okay? So that's like government rule. Assyrians were like some Christians, if you look it up, something like that. Like that's, if you see what it is, like do your research, is what I'm gonna tell you. So these people are conjuring up for, like it's been going on forever. Whatever's going on in this world, it don't have nothing to do with the ones that they call the minorities, because they call themselves here the majority. So with that being said, I talked about something called Nineveh last week, like the word, like the it came up out of the biblical Nineveh, which today, after doing a little bit more research, I kept saying, well, why am I thinking so much about Nineveh? And why does this keep coming to me? It's like the stuff that I say on this channel is possibly categorized with like Jonah and the big fish. Okay. To where I'm going to start calling these the big whale tails. Because who believes a lot of these, they'll call it conspiracy theory, but a lot of stuff that I may talk about on this channel, I'm looking it up. Okay, I'm actually getting literal sense, biblical sense, or whatever of what I'm speaking on. But my after I've dissected it and analyzed it or whatever, and get whatever spirit is giving me out of it, that's when I deliver my message. Okay, so that's how it works with me. And sorry about that interruption. I get these people quiet. They are like, anywho, where was I at? Nineveh, Nahum, and why I'm doing these messages the way that I'm doing these messages. And they're just like big whale tails. People are finding some of the content that I'm putting up a bit too hard to believe. Okay. But if you do your own research, you can get a literal sense of what I'm speaking on. Now, we all know that government rules a lot of things in this world. Okay. They rule the way people live. I feel like they have this thing where they're literally selecting who they keep in poverty and who they approve applications for and stuff. Listen, they whole structural basis of America. Anyway, sorry about that interruption once again. You know how the enemy is when you're trying to get out a message. Okay. The governments are in fight with Christians. Some of them are probably Christians that work for the government, but they don't really support a lot of the criteria that the government upholds. A lot of them be in the inside fighting for certain things to stop, to start, to be recognized, to be reckoned with. Okay. And with that being said, the reason I brought up Nineveh and Nahum is because Nahum had to put an end to some things with Assyria as well. And God basically stated that he's the same God that he was back then. He does the same thing. He's going to do the same thing. Okay. 444 on my timer as I say that. He's going to do the same thing to whatever government rule that's evil and that's like messing with his chosen people. I don't understand why these people, after all these years, don't realize that something is actually happening over and over and over again to humanity, to man. And it can be catastrophic. Okay? We don't have no control over what happens to this earth and how the core can burn up and, all these floods and tornadoes and hurricanes or what have you. We don't have no control over that. So, with that being understood, why is it that people still don't get through their head what God did before? He will do it again now. You all have a good night. Hit the like, share, and the subscribe button. And you've just really heard a big whale tale. And hopefully you understood the message. Hopefully it's giving you some insight about how governmental rules over people, and it's all for the enslaving of people, for like some self-gratifying, like, I feel like the government always want to be in control. It's always like this control thing. They control with military. They control with police. They control with food. They control with spells. They controlling with everything. Okay? And God has had enough.